Hi there, how's it going? Welcome to episode 52 of Enhancing the Human Experience. In this episode, we're going to be doing one of my favorite things, maybe possibly like my most favorite thing, and that is taking two awesome ideas and concepts from two superstars and blending them in to make one concept, in this case, one super tool. And since one of the things that we talk about on this podcast is super tools that you can use to help you be, do, and have more in life, to help you get more done, be more productive, have more happiness, health, wealth, and success. I'm all about the tools. If you've been listening to the podcast very long, or if you've checked out any of my books, which I actually call all of my books tools. I don't refer to them as books because I want them to be, I design them to be beneficial and helpful. And two, it's all about the means to the end. I want them to help you get more of what you want in life. So I never refer to them as books. And in this podcast, this episode, I'm going to be sharing with you a tool that we're going to use, you can use to help create more success in every area of your life. But as we do that, I'm going to talk about like the backstory and where I get this idea, because I don't know if you're like this in your field, and I'm assuming you are, because this is kind of the nature of life, isn't it, right? We're always, well, let me lay the foundation like this. You probably heard the statement that there's nothing new under the sun, right? It's common. And if you look at it from that way, if you look at life from that way, which I'm not going to judge that statement or say it's true or not true, but if you look at life that way, then the only thing we're all doing is taking two ideas that already exist and blending them in such a way, or marrying them and creating a new idea, right? This is kind of the thing that Steve Jobs did with Apple. You know, he took technology and fonts and beautiful things and beautiful design and married the two, right? And then you come up with things like, well, the original Mac books and the original Mac, way back in the day when Mac was just starting out, their computers were very innovative. Then, of course, they took the same concept, super cool technology or super useful technology and super cool design, and you get the iPhone, something totally revolutionary. So again, those two ideas that he married together were not new, but what he did with it was new. And that's kind of what I like to do with the tools that I create is, you know, listen to business people, branding people, personal development, manifestation, metaphysical. You know, as you know, if you listen to the podcast, I'm really big into the New Thought movement and all the players that were playing around in that time frame, early to mid 1900s. You know, the Florence Scovel Shins, Ernest Holmes, Wallace D. Wattles, all of those players, Neville Goddard. I like playing in that realm, but also adding into the mixture of this thing that we're producing here, right? These tools, practical business sense people that are really good in business and marketing and branding, because you need to marry the two. We're both physical and spiritual beings, and we have to bring both aspects of ourselves online in order to create like the highest good for ourselves. We can't just always live in the spiritual realm because we are physical beings. We need to eat, we need to make money, we need to contribute to the world, have things, all those kind of things. We're not one or the other, we're both. So I like to marry those two. In this particular case, what we're going to be talking about is, one, we're going to be talking about thought and the notion that where focus goes, energy flows, that famous quote from Tony Robbins, but we're also going to be pairing it with and blending in some Abraham Hicks stuff. And if you're not familiar with Abraham Hicks, they are, you know, like, well, one, they are super beneficial and helpful to anyone on their journey, because at the end of the day, we're really only doing one thing. We're translating thoughts to things. We are cosmic creators, right? You're bringing the thoughts that you have about yourself and your life and your business into the world in a manifest form. And so Abraham Hicks, Abraham is the channeled beings, group of beings that Esther Hicks channels and then answers questions and shares and really mentors us human beings in an incredible way. So if you haven't checked them out, I highly encourage you to do so. They will radically transform, their message will radically transform anything you do in your whole life. So in this, that's kind of one of the one of the areas of knowledge that feed into what I'm going to be talking about today. But essentially, at the end of the day, going back to Anthony Robbins' quote, where focus goes, energy flows, that's what we're really doing, because there is this, I call it the creative flow of energy, or the creative God force within us, the God spark, that is flowing through us, and we have the ability to harness it and direct it in whatever way we choose. That's the free will that God gave us, right? We are not bound by instinct and our past or our future. We have the ability to focus that creative energy wherever we want to. And this is where you get the notion. That's how you turn thoughts to things. And I want to say also this, is that I don't believe that anyone of us is creating anything, because I personally can't take credit for that energy. I didn't create that energy. I don't even know where it comes from. I just know that it's there. And all we can do, and I've talked about this before, is focus it to where we want it to be, and then create the things we want to create in life. And that's enough, quite frankly. Beyond that, who knows where that energy comes from, or what it is ultimately. I think a lot of people can speculate, but we can focus it. We can use it to create the experiences we want to have in life and have a better life. So that's what this tool is going to help you do. One of the things that we know is that whatever you are thinking about and focusing your psychic energy on, whatever's in your brain, is going to grow, right? What you focus on expands, and what you think about, you bring about. The great challenge for human beings is this: to take your thought power, your thoughts and your psychic energy off of the things and circumstances you don't want to have, and put it on the experiences and things and circumstances you do want to have. Now, this is somewhat challenging for us, because once we have an experience, or once we are in the middle of experience, where is our attention? It's on that experience, right? Whatever it is in any area of life. This is where the challenge comes, where we have to detach our energy and stop feeding that experience that's already manifested itself in our life, or that we're going through right now, because remember, that's just the fruit of a seed that you've planted in the past, right? So we have to remove our attention from experiences that aren't what we want, in which case they will wither on the vine and die and naturally go away on their own, because we're not feeding it with energy and attention anymore. And put that energy and attention on the experiences that we want to have. In most cases, we do not see them, or we do not see evidence of them in our experience. And so this is where we have to use our imagination to imagine what it would be like if we had that experience. This is where Wayne Dyer talks about his famous quote that I love so much, where he says, "You've got to continuously contemplate yourself as being surrounded by the conditions you wish to produce." Other metaphysicians and manifestation gurus talk about it in the sense of live in the end, Neville Goddard, or Joseph Murphy's law of inverse transformation. Imagine the feeling that you would have if you had that experience. This is why imagination is so important, and I've talked about this before. And it's like a muscle. You have to do it every day to make sure that it's in good condition. So imagination is really vital, because you're thinking of your whole surroundings. You're seeing yourself in the environment that hasn't been created yet. And so it has to be created in your own imagination. And that is living in the end, like so many of these metaphysicians talk about. But this tool that I'm going to suggest to you and ask you to give it a try just for a few days, so you can see the radical improvements that it's going to make in your experience, is this. It's called the Focus and Flow tool. And if you get out 2 sheets of paper, and on one of the sheets of paper at the top write what has worked out for me, or what is working out for me. This is the things that are going right in your life, or the awesome experiences or conditions that you have caused, or that you have allowed to happen using that flow of creative energy anytime in your past, right? Whether it's currently going on, which is super awesome, or whether it's something that's happened from today prior. It could be even back when you were a child. Remember, the name of this list is what has worked out for me and what is working out for me. Write down some awesome things on that list, because I know some amazing quote unquote miracles have happened to you, and you probably remember those too. So you're going to write those down on that list. Your second list, or even second half of the paper, is going to be what I want to work out for me. And that is where you put all of your dreams and your hopes and your goals, business, professional, any area of your life, your health, your finances, your relationship, spirituality. That's where you put all the things that you want that haven't happened yet, right? This is your vision board. You're translating your vision into written words and putting them on that list. So you have two lists: what has worked out or what is working out, and what I want to work out. Now notice there is no room for things that you perceive aren't working out. And the reason, like I talked about earlier, is that there's no room for those in your life, because unless you want those to keep happening and to keep experiencing what isn't working out, you don't want to think about it. You don't want to send your energy to that, right? You don't want to focus at all on it, because by removing your focus from what you perceive isn't working out, and the reason I say that in that way is that there's so many things going on that we don't understand, right? You may perceive something isn't working out when in the grand cosmic scheme of things, it is working out exactly right. But we human beings have a tendency to constantly micromanage our lives and be so bold as to constantly try to micromanage the universe. And I'm just as guilty, right? Questioning the universe as how they're doing to get you what you want, or how the universe or divine intelligence is doing to get you what you want, right? I have no problem in saying that I've done that before. But again, take your total focus off the things that you perceive aren't working out. These two lists are going to be your focus for at least a week. Now, in my own experience, it doesn't take that long to make you a believer and to sell you on this tool. It's only going to probably take a few days, maybe 3 days. And the other thing that I like to do is write these down on 3x5 cards. Maybe pull the most awesome things that have happened to you, even that you may call miracles or that you may call divine intervention. Pull those off, write down 5 or 10 on a 3x5 card, and then of course carry your 3x5 card of your biggest, grandest, most awesome, super inspiring goals and things you want to have happen, and carry those 2 3x5 cards in your pocket all the time. I think it's that powerful, this little tool. And when you focus on these first thing in the morning when you get up, periodically throughout the day, before you go to bed at night, I'll tell you something, in very short time, you will forget all about what you think isn't working out, because you won't have time, because you'll be so excited about the new things that are coming to you. And also you'll be so excited remembering all the miracles that have happened to you prior to this state in your life, and thinking of how excited and happy and in total bliss you were when that awesome thing happened. You won't even remember anything that you think isn't going right. Just a few days is all it takes, and you will be totally on your way. And what happens is you'll feed those seeds of the things you want to have happen really, really fast, because your energy, what you focus on, will expand, and those things will start to expand. Doors will open up, opportunities will open up, new people will come into your life that will facilitate that process, and new ideas will come to you. This is where that channel becomes open, because when you're thinking about something you don't want, one, the channel of divine inspiration, or the channel that gives you ideas from your higher self, the other side, from your higher being, that channel is really closed when you're focused on something that isn't going right, because one, you don't feel good. And to keep that channel open, you have to feel really good all the time. This is why Neville Goddard said that feeling is the secret. Producing the feeling inside of yourself of the experience that you want, but also feeling good about your life, because that opens the channel. It's an energetic channel within you, right? And it's an energetic valve within you, and you close it off when you don't feel good. And then you don't get the ideas from the awesome ideas from the other side. And two, you will be putting your energy into what you want. So feeling good opens the channel, and then feeling good targeted to what you want helps that thing expand and that thing grow, right? And then that seed that you've planted on your list of the awesome experiences that you want is going to grow. So that is the tool. I call it the focus and flow tool. This is kind of derived off that other famous little quote called hustle and flow, which I think is valid too, to creating success in life. But focus and flow is really, really powerful. And again, it's derived of something Tony Robbins said, who is not just a business guru, right? He knows all of this manifestation, metaphysical stuff as well, because look at the success he's created in his own life. His famous quote, where focus goes, energy flows. And you want to totally cut off the flow of energy to anything that you think isn't working in your life, and it'll just wither on the vine and die away and totally will be removed from your consciousness, right? And you'll have to think, well, what was it that I thought wasn't working, right? After a few days, you won't remember what you perceived wasn't working, and that's what you want. That's like the ultimate goal. So focus and flow tool, thank you to Tony Robbins, and thank you to Abraham and Esther Hicks for helping us see the world in this way, because we are energetic beings living in an energetic world, and we are creative beings. We're creating with our thoughts, we're creating with where we focus attention, and that's how we bring things into being. So give it a try, just a few days and you'll be sold. Make the focus and flow tool and let me know how it goes. All right. Well, hey, I want to thank you for tuning in today. I do wish you all the best in the week ahead, and we will talk to you next week. Until then, all the best, health, wealth, and success. Bye-bye.